Good morning, everyone. So my name is Brian Mann. I'm with Rank 1, Kinsey Mann. She is a relation, not my wife, she's my daughter. Greg Gonzalez. Long time, probably the second longest with Rank 1 now that we have. What, 7 or 8 years? 5? He seems like forever. He's very, very knowledgeable in software, Kinsey is, and so we make up part of the support staff. And just to even start with that right there, before we start doing schedules, because we're going to be putting such a large number of schools on in a very short period of time, and, for the most part, people call Greg because they have a cell phone, and that's the kind of support you're going to get. You're going to be able to get a hold of us. We take. You'll have my cell phone at some point. It's on my card. I hand out my card to everybody. But as you know, I'm getting 200 calls a day. It's hard for me. I don't want you sitting there waiting. So don't put all your eggs in one basket. So you'll email your questions, and when you need help, email support@rank1sport.com. SUPPORT, support@rank1sport.com. Don't put an S on there, but just support@rank1sport.com. Then Greg's watching it, Kinsey's watching it, I'm watching it, and 2 or 3 guys upstairs in our booth are watching it. You'll get help much faster. And there's a record of it in there, so if he's got halfway through with it, and then I get through with my task, I go help him out. But if you're calling and sitting on the voicemail, then I got one person all stacked up, and other people could have helped you much faster. We typically will reply to your emails within the day or less. I mean, we really, how many Rank 1 users in here already have been using Rank 1? So I think hopefully they will attest that we do get back with you. That's one of the things we take a lot of pride in is our customer support. And we have tutorials. We don't want you to call us if you haven't even tried to look at your tutorial first or tried to figure it out, because the software should be that easy to use. But obviously there's going to be questions come up. And we will do everything we can to make sure you have good customer support. I mean, that's anybody can build software, but not everybody can do that. And that's where we try to take a lot of pride in making sure we do the right thing. That's the difference maker, is the support. All right. So today's little session, but the last one that we did was on the athlete management. Worked really well. I'd encourage you, if you didn't, sometime, we're going back and forth all day today and tomorrow. Come in and listen to the athlete management. One of the things that, I don't know if you've seen it, the brochure, you're saying, what do we have to do inside Rank 1? What's different? So on this page in your brochure, it tells you what your requirements are. We listed them out. I sat down just the other day with TAPPS, and I completed this because I wanted you to have some kind of visual, some kind of documentation about, I know we're going to Rank 1, I know we got to use Rank 1, what do I have to do? Well, that's why I offered this session. It's one of the most important things that you'll do in Rank 1 is your schedule. They're requiring you to put your schedules in Rank 1 and your scores. So obviously I want to show an overview of how you put a schedule in Rank 1. Show you the shortcuts. And this part of the software is ready. So if I were one of you, I wouldn't even wait around. July 15th, the athlete management part will be ready. All your forms, the TAPPS forms are being revised. We're doing all that. July 15th is the deadline on that. We'll be live. But the scheduling, you could actually start now. There's some TAPPS schools in here that probably already have 19, 20 schedules already posted, and the parents can already see them. So I'm going to show you how that's done inside Rank 1. That's what this session's on, and then you can keep that page right there. That shows you all of your requirements. Okay? So what I want to do is, I'm even going to back out from here. And I'm going to start from the very beginning of time. So I'm going to make it very simple. You'll go to our website. Right now it looks like this. I'm going to update it. I don't know when. I'm working on it right now because I want it so easy that the parents, you're not the problem. And I'm not saying the parents are a problem. I'm saying the parents get lost very easily. So we're trying to take our website and make it even easier to navigate for parents. So the website's going to change, but you'll always be able to go to rank1sport.com. There's no S, rank1sport.com, and there'll always be a school login for you guys. It's your email address and your password. Your administrator sets you up in the system. They give you access. You might have access to 3 sports, 1 sport, 2 sports, all sports. You might have access to high school and middle school. They might only put the high school. Now, the high school has to be there. Middle school will be optional. We would encourage it because there's some advantages if you have your middle schools in there. So there'll be a school login. You simply click there. You're going to put your email address in, your password, you're going to log in. You can do this from the iPad, computer, Safari, Google, your phone, the app. But obviously, when you're working and entering a schedule, I would highly recommend you use a computer because it's going to be so much faster. You're going to be able to see so much more. All right, so across the top, when you log in, inside Rank 1, the tab that you first log into is your dashboard. Now, if this were August or September, all of my games for today would show up on my upcoming events, and it would just give me a snapshot for what I have going on for the day. Across the top, we have athlete management. That has nothing to do with the schedule, so you would not go to scheduling or athlete management and put your schedule in. If you start to think, we tried to be very intuitive. We tried to be common sense when we build the platform here for you. Athlete management, you're going to use it. Every one of you are, because that's where you're going to build those rosters and maintain those. But we're not doing that session right now. That was a whole different. Or we're going to enter in our injuries. That has something to do with an athlete. You're going to do that in athlete management. Okay? Things that have to do with athletes are in athlete management. I need to upload a physical. Well, I wouldn't go to schedules to upload a physical. I'd go to athlete management. Next tab, schedules. Here's one of your required tasks, scheduling. So when I hold it over schedules, I get all these drop downs. I have a calendar view. I can bring up my schedules. I can put my practice schedule. They're not requiring you to put your practice schedule. That's optional. I'm going to show you how to use it because I think it's beneficial, but especially for middle school, but it's not a requirement. Then you have your game scheduler. Then you have a sync schedule. Then you have an athletic trainer calendar. Then you have your away venues, and then you have event staff master list. Most of you don't even know what event staff master list is. So I'm just going to give you the snippet. It's optional. We have some districts that want to have it all in the system where, hey, on Tuesday night I got a home basketball game. It shows all the games, it shows all the workers, and you track all the workers and make sure you've got everything covered for every home game. So that's an add-on. I'm not even going to show it today, but it's in the parents can sign up online and it does all that fancy stuff. It's a new thing that we just released not too long ago. But right here, game scheduler. And I promise you, if you'll watch this, here's why I cringe. There's some tools in there that are old because we keep some of the old stuff for people who have signed up with us 10 years ago. And can you imagine how much technology has advanced in 10 years? But I have some people that will just close their binoculars down and they learned how to do this deal, and it was click, 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 click. It was simple because when I first started, I wanted it to be simple. Click, 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 save. And they're still doing that today. They're spending about an hour to put a schedule in. And now you should put a schedule in 10, 15 minutes, max. So I promise you, if you just watch this and then watch how simple this overview, when you get to doing it, you'll see. So game scheduler is where we would recommend you would put in all of your schedules. Okay? You got to go put them in the system. So you'll go to game scheduler, and it'll come up like this. Page that looks very similar to this for you. Now, obviously, you coach, I'm just going to say you coach girls basketball. She's not going to see, click her school, she's not going to see a bunch of schools, she's going to see the school she works at. Obviously, you have to tell the system, what schedule do you want to build? So you start, you've got to click all the way across. You'll click your high school or middle school, and then you won't see a whole list of sports probably. Most of you will be set up to see the sports that you coach on. Now, if you're an administrator, you see them all because you can kind of touch and feel all sports. I can schedule. I'm the AD in there right now. That's why I can put a schedule in there for any sport, any level, any team. But when I'm setting my coaches up, I got a girls basketball coach. I assign her girls basketball. Girls basketball will be the only sport that shows up there. Oh, but she coaches 2 sports. What do I do? Oh, you just assign her volleyball too, and then she sees 2 sports. And she chooses which one she wants to build a schedule for. And I'll show you, several little things as we go through. So we selected our school, our sport. I want to put the varsity schedule in. And then I have to select a team. Why do I have to select a team? Well, at the 9th grade level, often there's a red and a gold or a black and a white or an A and a B. At the middle school level, that's why you have to go all the way across. Well, why do I have to put it in there for every schedule? Because the parent doesn't care about 15 different schedules. The parent cares about the one which their child plays on. I need a roster matched up to each team. I got a varsity schedule, I got a varsity roster. I got a JV roster, I got a JV schedule, so it's all paired up. Okay? So all Kinsey has done is tell it she wants to build the varsity volleyball schedule. Now, our system has already said 1920, and it wouldn't matter. Our system also does this. If you start in August, we call that a new year, so it would automatically. If I was putting this schedule back 3 months ago, 4 months ago, as soon as I choose anything after August 1, it would have automatically switched it, so you really can't mess it up. Because it knows that's a 1920, because August is a 1920 school year. Anything going forward. Make sense? So you could do this. You could put the schedule in, you could even put next year's in, and it would be sitting there waiting for you. Now in rank 1, and our links, and the way everything works in the app, we don't let parents see anything but current year. You can see it. You can go back and look past inside the system, but mom and dads, the world, can only see the current year schedule. So on June 1, we switched 1920 in rank 1 as far as the public view. So she's been using the software for several years. Her parents can no longer see 18-19 schedules. On June 1, they started being able to view 19-20 schedules. Does that make sense? The reason we don't let parents is because we don't want mom and dad up in the bleachers going, man, it's going to be a light crowd tonight, because they're in the wrong location because they went and looked at a wrong year schedule, or they've driven someplace. It just seems like if you don't keep them where they can't mess up, you have lots of problems, okay? So you don't want the phone calls, we don't want the phone calls, we show current year schedules only. All right, Kinsey said she wanted to build a varsity volleyball. Now this is new. For those new TAPPS, or for the existing TAPPS, or schools that have been using rank 1, this is new, and then for everybody else, this is new. This section right here, it's called time-saving advanced settings. A schedule that used to take 30 minutes, now takes 10. That used to take an hour, now it takes 15, 20 is all. It saves that many clicks. So please use this middle section. So my varsity volleyball, most of those games start at 6 o'clock, so now I preset it. Because what you used to have to do is go down through there and change the start time and end time for every single game. And when you have 20 games, that's 40 clicks. Now, you set it one time, and you might have to adjust 1 or 2. It will take the amount of time that you take to put your schedule from here to here. So she's going to say 6 o'clock, and I always encourage you to just go an hour later. Now, default. Since my varsity volleyball almost always gets the main gym, I'm going to select the main gym. If I were doing a 9th grade, it would be the auxiliary gym, because almost always the 9th graders play in that gym. Okay? The next one, game type. So I don't want to, tell you. You could save some clicks. If you're cognizant and you're really sharp and you're really concentrating, you've got a lot of interruptions, I'd start out with non-district. And I'd save those advanced settings. Then after I put if I clicked on the first 8 games and they're non-district, if I could remember to go back and change that now to district, and then I select the rest of the dates on the calendar, they would all default to district. Or you could say, you know what, 90% are district games. So I'm just going to set it district, that way I don't have to remember it. So we're going to call it district, and we're going to save these advanced settings. You already did? And now I'm going to go to the calendar, and I'm going to start clicking days. We're going to start late in August, and we're playing Tuesday nights on volleyball, and Friday nights, and Tuesdays and Thursdays. So as you click those dates, they'll start popping up down there. Did you click some already? Yeah. All right. So you go to the calendar, and you click on those dates, and then it starts building a line, building a line, building a line. And now, look, the old days, you'd had to change the start time. But I already have this game on 8-9, 6-7, the opponent. We're going to type in the opponent name. So we'll type in, it doesn't matter. Example. It's home game. I'm done. If I didn't want to, game type.
It's already selected on the string.
Oh, okay. Yeah, just decrease it a little bit more. There it goes. Okay, so yeah, those automatically saved. So once I typed in who I was playing, because it was a home game, I already had everything preset. I literally put in my first game this by typing the info. Second game. Okay, this time, already got my time. This time we'll put another school name in there. And this was away, so I changed it to away. Now, I select my away venue, and I'm going to show you how you build your away venue list. Just click one again. And I'm done. I go to my next game. You used to have to change all of those all the way across. So I'm telling you, it went from whatever you were doing, it cut it to a third of the amount of time it takes to put a schedule. What would I do, or what would you think? Tournament. I got a 2-day tournament. What do I do? 2-day tournament. Think about it. Basketball, volleyball, those. So if you know it's 2 days, then you would click the 30th and the 31st. Each game needs to be its own line. I'll say that again. Each game needs to be its own line. If I have 3 games on that day, I'm clicking, even if I have 3 games on the 30th, I just click the 30th 3 times. Each game is its own line. I can't say it any more simple than that. Because you got to put a score in there, and you're eventually going to put an opponent. You may not know it, so you TBA, TBA, TBA for the time. Then once you get your bracket, you hit edit, put the times in. Then you put your opponent in. Because at the time, you may not even know who your opponent is. So that's TBA. On tournament day, you pull out your app, you won the game, now you know who you're playing. So you put your new time in. You put your new opponent in, you hit save, and it sends out alerts and lets everybody know. Make sense on tournaments? Each game is its own line. If you'll just remember that, just click on the calendar, and if you got 5 games that day, then you have to click the 30th 5 times. Then you'd be able to put in 5 scores, 5 opponents, and 5 different times. Make sense? Yes?
Is there a way to do a drop down for opponent?
No, not right now. I'm going to do it one of these days, but it's a lot more complicated than what you think. And then I get things like you got to put like Coca-Cola Classic, and then you got wrestling when they got a duel, and I'm going to put 3 things in there. I'm playing this one, this one. So it'll come one of these days, but it's been easier just to type it in. All right, this is an upgrade. Oh, and by the way, it'll tell you our system does facility management at the same time. So let's say the varsity boys schedules a game in the gym from 7 to 8 on Friday night. The 6th girls comes along and says, oh yeah, I'll play up to 6th Friday night, 7 o'clock, and they go to put it in. It'll come up with, it'll tell you that facility's already being used. And you'll be going, hey, wait a minute, who's supposed to have the gym? You go to the administrator and they'll help you figure out. So it'll keep you from double booking your facility automatically, okay? And you can override it. I mean, there is times when you turn the standards sideways and you have 2 games going on basically at the same time. So track, there's going to be some situations where you can override it, okay? Got an override button. Just see your administrator first. All right, this is new. Special notes. Special notes is not new, but that blue thing under special notes is new. So a special note is used for this. For those of you who haven't used rank 1, homecoming. So on this night, I'm playing test. It's a home game. Everything is this, and then I want it to say out next to the description, I want it to say homecoming. That's a special note. So I write homecoming in there. It'll be in red letters next to that schedule. Senior night. It'll have senior night in red letters next to that schedule. Now, what I really like about our special notes feature is this. If you've never used Rank 1 before, this is very important. Baseball, softball, those spring sports where you get rained out all the time. Okay? I want you to think about it. I have a game tonight. It's 2 o'clock. I know I'm not going to be able to make it. So we're going to cancel the game. We just can't play. So if I just go in there as a coach and I just hit the red X and I just cancel it, it's going to disappear from the schedule. It's going to send an alert out saying the game was canceled, and then that's just going to disappear. So when people, and then your website will instantly be updated because Rank 1 will be connected to it, and people will just go, I could have swore there was a game tonight. There's nothing on the schedule. Because you just canceled the whole thing. To me, that's not how I would do it. I would do it like this. I would go and hit edit, and in my special notes, I type in all caps, game rained out. And I'd even go to the opponent, where it says opponent, and next to that, I'd even put it in there. Again, game rained out. And then I would hit save. Then all my parents and all of everybody who's connected and signed up would get an alert saying, oh, there's been a schedule change. The game was rained out. It's in the special notes. Then it's still on the schedule. Anybody who looks at it, they can see that the game's been rained out. It's still on the schedule. But I've communicated and left it on there versus just delete it. Does that make sense, everybody? Okay? Then you can come back, and you're going to have to make it up Saturday because it was a district game. You would go click on Saturday, and you would fill out the line, and you can even put in the red special note. This is a makeup game from Friday, if you wanted to. And then everybody would get an alert, a push notification, and then they would see the games on Friday. They have to have the app to get the push notification. They can sign up for email. Real quick, Sean. I'm just about to release this. The emails used to be very, I would say old and antiquated. I built them 10 years ago. And you had to kind of have all the old ones and all the new ones, and you had to kind of hunt and peck for what to change. So we just took a lot of time. This was a game that was updated. See how I did the red and then it showed the previous? So as a parent, if they're getting the email alerts, that's a new look of our email alerts. So it would send it out and it would tell you that this game has changed. And it would say, now it's away at Frisco ISD. And it used to be at Frisco Liberty. So it shows you the new, plus tells you what the old one was, so you kind of know. Yes, ma'am?
And that auto-populates or auto-generates anytime you make a change or cancel the game?
Yes. Sends out every time, anybody who signs up, okay? And I'm going to explain some stuff here in a minute, but I want to stay with schedules here, so let's go back. So I'm working my way across the schedule. Now here's a new thing for those existing and then for you that are new to Rank 1. Basketball tournament. If you would like to, it's optional. It says PDF, add a PDF. So if I have a basketball tournament, and for some reason I want to have a nice brochure all built, and I'm updating it every day, I can actually add now a PDF attachment right there to the special notes. So now we'll have a PDF of the bracket if you wanted to. Okay? And it's so simple. You just click. You already do it.
But it has to be PDF. It will not take Word. It has to say .pdf in the file name.
Okay? So now you can attach a PDF. And it's pretty, it could be like even a 3-page probably. It'll handle a couple of megabytes. So, optional. Things that are required have the red asterisk. So that's how you put your scheduling. So you're going down through there, and you're going down through there, and then you save at the bottom when you okay, this is real. I'm doing this while I'm in a class. The kids are all reading. And they got an assignment. I got 15 minutes. So I'm going to go ahead and start. So I get my first 5 or 6 games in, then bell rings and I need to go to my next class. If you'll just hit save, even though you've got them all, I might have 30 games, but I've only got 5 of them actually done. If you'll hit save right there, it'll save your work. Go to your next class, log in from that next computer, and all your work, you can just take off from where you were at and hit save at the bottom until you get them all in. Make sense? So if you'll use the game scheduler, this is by far, and has all the shortcuts to putting a schedule in the first time. Any questions on that before I leave this page? Okay?
And can I upload it? I mean, is there a way to upload it as a CSV? Is that if I already got an Excel?
No, because of our Google Maps that we have attached to our home venues and away venues, and because of our facility management, that makes that, just can't really do a CSV. Ours just does so much more than just a blank schedule with no checking or maps and all that kind of stuff, sorry. Good question, I wish we could. But you'll see that with the time-saving tools now, and then some other things I'm fixing to show you, you should be able to be as fast as building a CSV file that you did, okay? So I put my schedule in, now I need to make it public. Because obviously, when you're building that, do you want anybody in the world looking at it? No. It's your eyes only. You and your AD, your administrator. That's the only people that can see it because it's in private mode. You don't have to do anything. It's default into private mode. You have to make that schedule public. At some point, you're going to look at it 3 times and go, it's ready. I got it all. It's done. I got my non-conference, my non-district, I got my scrimmages in there, I got all my times in there. I got my contracts, whatever you do, whatever your practice is, I got all my stuff. I'm ready now to release it to the entire world. That means to us making it public. So anybody in the world now can look at it. How do I do that? So I'm going to show you another tab of where you go. You hold it over schedules and you go to schedules. Here's where you view your schedules. So she built, you can do mine if you want to do that demo one football. It might be a little more complete. I built one for somebody the other day to demo, for demo one football. Go ahead and make it private for me. All right, so right now, there's my schedule. I've got PDF attached. You can see my red letters for my special notes. I got my senior night showing up. I got a scrimmage here. I got a PDF added to this one. My scores are all 0-0. It's got locations in here. They all have a Google map attached to them. Everybody's schedule will look the same. Okay? So that one's ready. I've looked at it 10 times. Now I want to make it public. And it tells you, the print is so small, it says private. Nobody can see this schedule. Click here to make the schedule public. And that was pretty tough, right? Right there was the direction. Click, and it turned green. And now it tells you it's public. 2 things just happened. Not just one, 2 things. One is, obviously, anybody in the world now can go to the internet and pull up that schedule. Your links would become active. If you use our website, our athletic website, it would become active and people could start viewing it and looking at it. That's one thing that happened. The second thing that happened was it turned on the alerts. So if I'm a parent and I've signed up, Kinsey, so here's where I want to take a teaching moment for you guys. When you have your meetings, I did it for the last session. If I'm a parent and my child goes to your school, if I can go into the software and download, or go to Google Play or App Store and download the Ranked One public app, the white one, I'm the mom and dad now. If I will go and download this app onto my phone, then I just go, okay, it says add a kid, choose your state, Texas, choose your school, Liberty Christian. Add a child, man, ID number 2361, save, verified. Kinsey pops up in my app. You put a schedule in there, she's on the varsity volleyball. You put the varsity volleyball, you put her on the roster, that parent all of a sudden feels, ding, her whole schedule will be right, uploaded automatically into the app. Oh, I want to sync it to my calendar. Push the sync button down at the bottom and it will sync that entire schedule to my calendar, which I have synced to my calendar in my office. And in 2 clicks, I've got Kinsey's schedules. And then when you make changes to that schedule, it will automatically alert the mom and dad every time. You put a score in, ding, slide it over, oh, the score. Change the schedule, ding. Playoff game, add it, ding. Add a tournament, oh, I want to play at 2 o'clock. They won the game, here's the score, here's the new game. All of it updates automatically right there in the parent app.
Now, if you send it via email, do they have to log in to Rank One? Do you
No.
get messages like?
No,
Not anymore.
it used to be an email. just via email. Well, what happens to emails, guys? Spam, wrong email address. Carriers will block them. You send out too many, you get such a big crowd, they'll shut them down. They'll think somebody's spamming. The app is the way to go. You want your parents to do everything in the app because we control it. It's our devices. We can make sure that the communication happens seamlessly, quicker, faster, better. All right, so we'll go back to schedules. So she made the schedule public, so two things happen. Anybody can see it, and it turned the alerts. Now all they can see, click on the link again. Go, just the one word. All they can see now, and that's an ugly schedule. I should have showed you the new one because that's going away, and we have a much nicer layout that'll be there in the next just day or two. We're testing. So that would show just the schedule because that's all I made public was just the schedule. Now let's go back. Let's go to the second box. Now I want them to see the results, the scores. So when she turns that on, now the scores will show up. So now click on the link. Yeah, but I think it'll still show up even if you don't put one in. Did you click on a new link? What was that? Now the score column is now active. So it will start showing the scores as we started putting them in. And it's instant. So you put these links, we give you the links for your website. They're going to be right there inside the software. See those three links? You have a district link, you have a campus link, and you have an individual. Or you can use our website. So you have choices. So if you're an admin and you say, hey, I put all my stuff into rank 1, and you wanted to give this a link to your admin, I would recommend this top link, and it would be a district link, and it would have the high school and the middle school, and then it's just drilled down. And those are all updated by the time you're up and running. That'll all have a new look. It's all much more current and fancier and nicer. So we give you the links for your website, or if you would like to use our athletic web portal, let us know. It's an additional cost, but it does everything automated. I mean, you can put pictures, and I'll have Kenzie show you here in a minute what it looks like. I'm going to stick with schedules. So I've made the schedule public, I've made the scores public, and she obviously showed you how you put your scores in. You can do this from the app. So when you're on the away game, finish the game on the bus ride home or van ride or whatever, as long as you're not driving, I don't recommend you drive and put the scores in. You probably could, it's so easy, but don't do that. You simply put in your score and their score, and if you want to write a summary, boys played hard tonight, it's a great game, hit save. Out would go to messages, the website would update instantly, and your district standings, behind the scenes, TAPPS has everything tied together. By the next morning, it'll show you who's in first, second, third, in the district standings. And it'll read the difference between a district game and a non-district game. So it's so important that you put your schedule in correctly and that you enter your scores in because it's calculating your district stuff all throughout the year. They want it streamlined. They don't want people having to handle things 3 and 4. You guys emailing and having to go back. They want you to put those in there immediately after the games. So there's less work on everybody. All this making sense, how it's all tied together?
What is the coach's app look like?
It's R1 and it's blue with red letters in the background. Right here to the right. It's the same username and password that you log into the software with. You have the same access settings. Okay? Back. So then if I wanted to, I'm a golf coach. Well, I don't have a score. Tennis, I may not have a score. Swimming. Then you're going to use the summaries a lot. And that's where you can just go in there and type your little summary. What I show golf coaches to do, I take a Word document. I have my golf team. I have their names, and I have what they shot. And I just save it. And then after each tournament, all I do is change what they shot, copy and paste it into the summary and save it. Because parents like to get those from those sports as well. Any questions? Then we really built this for actually other states, but I actually have some Texas schools that use it. Montana is the reason I built it, because in Montana, you spend the night, because oftentimes by the time you play that game on an away game, it snows so much you can't get home. So they put the bus details are very important for them to put in there, because they update their parents on when they're gonna get home. In Texas, we don't really deal with some of those same issues, but you can put what time you think the bus is gonna, what time it's gonna pick up, what time it's gonna get home. Middle school that needs a ride, that becomes sometimes a nice thing to have. It's optional. It's optional, okay?
Excuse me,
Yes,
I have a bunch of questions, but the one right now, what is required by TAPPS as far as scores are concerned that we have to input?
all those,
Team sports only, or
yes.
you're talking golf, track, tennis, that doesn't have to be in?
No.
No.
Team
Okay.
sports,
Okay.
yes. That's exactly right. So now, so far, that's how you put a schedule in, and that's how you make it public. Now, let me show you some shortcuts. Let's say I put in, scroll down again, the varsity schedule, and it's beautiful. It's right. In a situation for a lot of you, the JV is almost identical. Okay? Except it's a different time. They start an hour earlier, or an hour and a half earlier. Watch this. Let me show you a shortcut, if that's your situation, to make it super fast, to put in almost an identical schedule. This varsity is ready to go. Let's just say it was varsity baseball. And JV baseball, other than a tweak or two, is almost the same, except it has a different start time. Here's one that'll get you if you're not really sharp and you're not really thinking. I'm going to copy this varsity over to the JV. But if I copy it before I go set my advanced settings, it'll copy it exactly. But I don't want to change it, all those games. I don't want to have to go in there and hit edit and change all those times. So watch what I'm going to do. I'm going to go up here and I'm going to go to Game Scheduler. I'm going to do Demo 1. This would be, I would say, yeah, we'll do JV, demonstrators. And I know they start, instead of at 7, they're going to go at 06. I'm just using this as an example. This is an hour and a half, because I did my varsity football at 7:30. JV is going to be at 6. So I'm going to go ahead and put my advanced, and they're going to play at the same stadium. And they're going to be, most of them are going to be district. And I'm going to hit save. So now, what I did was, I told the system, as a default setting, JV starts at 6. Now I'm going to go back to that varsity schedule, all the way through. Think about what the computer's doing. I just already set those advanced settings. So if you're thinking, you know what I should probably do? I should probably go put all of my advanced times and settings up front so I don't have to worry about it. That would be smart. Now, when I copy this varsity schedule, Demo 1, football, I'm copying it to what? To the JV. No, sorry. JV. And I hit copy. Just that fast. So you just saved how many clicks? That would be hard to count how many clicks you just saved. Now let's go look at it. So now I'm going to go to the game scheduler. Let's go through the game scheduler. We didn't have a JV in there a minute ago. And it already changed the times to 6 o'clock. I got an exact schedule with updated times. And in theory, some of you will never have to change a thing. So in 4 clicks, you just copy. Where it really works, obviously, take middle school football. Put the 18 in, or the 8th grade in, and the 7th grade is going to play an hour early. Put the 8th grade in. As long as I got my times savings for my 7th grade already set, copy over to the 7th grade, they're exactly the same schedule. I'm done. 4 clicks. Make sense? Now, if I did need to edit something, oh, you know what? We don't have the same tournament. I need to change this tournament because varsity's got a tournament on this day and JV's got a different tournament. So I could use the X to get rid of some games. It's in private mode, it's not sending anything out. I use the X to get rid of it. Okay? If I need to edit, she hit edit on this line, and we're playing somebody different, or we got a different note, we don't need senior night, or whatever, obviously, take that out, and then hit save over on the left, make a few changes, and then go make it public and you're done. Big time savings tool. Yes, sir.
Just curious, is the editing feature only one game at a time? Because what if like a middle school A and B, and one always plays away, but the other one always plays home on the exact same day, maybe due to field or even women and men's basketball? Could it be edited just the home and away? So copy the whole thing, but I want to go through and just everywhere there's H, make it an A, and everywhere there's A, make it an H, and just go down, or do I have to go each line item?
Because of this right here, you would have to do each, but it's up there. You would just have to hit edit on one and change each one.
Okay.
Now, sometimes you have to ask yourself, is it more trouble to copy and then make a ton of edits, or just go put it in? Because you could have set your advanced settings and just put it in, and it still would have been less clicks editing the home and away too.
Gotcha.
If you're copying the public schedule, does it automatically make this one's private?
They're all private until you make them public. No matter whether you're copying, doing it the first time, they're always private and you have to make them public. There's no automated making them public because you're the one that decides when it's ready to be viewed. They're defaulted to always private, you have to make them public.
Can you copy from public and private, or can you
Yes.
only copy? So if it's public, you can just go copy?
One time. You can copy one time. Obviously, I copied that to the JV and then all of a sudden, I made 4 changes to the varsity. You only get to copy once, so make sure you're got it completely done before you copy it over, because then you have to make both changes. It'll only allow you to copy one time. Otherwise, it'll come up and tell you, there's already a game in there, it won't let you copy. Because otherwise, you did up with 15 of the same games on that same schedule. Yes, ma'am?
Once it's public, and I understand that it's gonna be on the right one site, but how is that correlated to how we've been viewing TAPPS, we've been viewing other schools? So essentially, we'll be waiting for them to make their schedule public, and.
You always were
where
waiting
do
for
we
somebody
go?
to make it public.
Is there a database where we will go to see all schools, or do we have to go to each school?
Pretty good question. I don't know if I have it, go to stage. So you'll have links, okay? Go to stage, are you in stage? Go to top page. Go to my school information under admin. It's over on the left. You got it over, no, right here. Yeah. Go to my school information. Hit edit on one of those. So I'm just going to try to show you, not that one. Go scroll down. That might work. Back up. So that right here. So in a nutshell, there will be a place because we're doing district standings. They'll all be on a link on the TAPPS website. And as soon as the scores are put in, you'll be able to see your classification and your district that you're in, and it'll have them all. Not only does it show them, but you click on any one of them, it shows the whole schedule. So you can see everybody's schedule in one place.
Even people outside of our district, like if we want to play a 6A school.
Well, we have a search function from our site. You can go search anybody's. And we're improving it to make it easier. But yes. Yes, sir.
Just to clarify a few things. This is replacing the TAPPS.
Yes, sir.
So we don't need to do both of them.
As far as the schedule and the athlete management and several other things, but yes.
And everything that we've seen here is included in what, there's not any extra fees for us.
That's right. All this comes with your subscription, every bit of it. The only thing that costs extra is that athletic website. Just real quick, how much time we have? 11 o'clock. Take 2 seconds. Just bring up. Here's a sample of what this is a live one. Here's Tyler ISD's. So you get to customize if you're. So you get to customize all your own menu items. But if you go to schools here and you pick John Tyler High School, this is an actual live, and you went to say football, they probably have their football schedule already in there. I just want to show you what it looks. So it calculates your win-loss records, gives you the contacts for the parents, for the coaches. Then if you click on schedule, this is what our view looks like. This is the updated view of what all of your schedules will look like, even from your links. Is it pulling? No, it should at least come out and tell it like the internet's not. Click contact. Is it anything? Right there, please. Good job. Try on. I was just gonna show you. No, demo one, I think it's the only one I have a live football schedule for. That schedule that we were looking at, that's what it would look like inside. You have the Google Maps, you know, and all that. You can export it to Excel, PDF. Here's the beauty of it. You put it in rank 1, it auto-populates all that information. There's no, you don't have to handle anything 2 times. The website, your athletic website would be always up to date as long as you make your changes in rank 1. And you get to, that's what it looks like, an export to a PDF for the parents and stuff like that. So we really have a lot of nice features. It costs you extra, but it's a one-time setup fee, not very much. And like I said, your forms, the online forms that you're gonna have to do, they would be on there automatically. There's just a lot of stuff. You get to put all your own pictures, go back to the home. So you can have a district, those are all pictures you can put in there. Then each coach can upload pictures for his or her sport. When they get to the sport page, and it calculates the records. And you get Facebook and Twitter, you can put all that on there. News and documents, you can put all that on there. And it's really easy, the control panel is really easy to use. Yes, ma'am?
2 questions. If you're already using rank 1, do we have to do anything with their accounts to get them changed over to TAPPS?
No, we'll be talking to you, we'll do something on the back end.
Okay.
We gotta tie you together and make a couple of changes.
And the second question is for those schools that do not have usernames, how do they go about getting their usernames to get set up?
So we've already kind of gone in the first time and set up just the AD and started the account process. Now, support at rank1sport.com, let us know you're ready, and we're gonna put out some webinars at different times and different dates, and you can join those. And then we're gonna try to go around and do some regional training.
So they don't need to do anything today with their accounts?
No, not really. There are too many people, and, you know, it would just take up too much time to do it today. Yes, ma'am?
Is there a cost involved to signing up with rank 1 as per TAPPS?
No.
The cost comes if you're adding
A website?
a website.
Yes.
And is there a cost to the app for the parents?
No.
Even to unlock schedules or
All
anything?
comes with it.
Okay.
The app, your app, their app, schedules, athletic management, online forums, all included
With the TAPPS sign
with
on?
the TAPPS.
The website's the only thing that's an added cost?
Yes. Well, there's one, the event management, but I only showed a little bit of that. There's a whole different piece of software in there, but yes, basically the website, yes.
Scheduling building, if I type in, if I'm putting the second Baptist, there's second Baptist schools, will it get sorted out?
So you type your opponent in.
Or are they already pre-loaded?
So, let's clarify. On your opponent, you always type whatever you want to. It can be Second Baptist, you can put the city name by it if you want to. Now, the location, we're gonna be able to help you. And I will just tell you this, go to the top. This is where you put your away venues in. Manage away venues. Now, be smart. Don't put any in until you talk to us and support at rank1sport.com because she's a TAPPS school, Shelton, already. Anybody around her, she's been using it. Now, I don't know if you haven't been using the schedule yet. Who's been using the schedule here? All right. Southwest Christian in San Antonio. Fort Worth. There's one in San Antonio too, though, right? I don't know. There's so many. If you are anywhere near her or around her, and she's been using the schedule, she's probably got an away venue list populated with 200-300 places, or 150-200. If you'll let us know, we can go copy all of her aways and put them in yours, and it'll save you all that time. All that time versus you doing this. You'll start out with nothing, and you'll have to hit add no away venue, and put the away venue name in one time and the address and save. Then once it's in there, it's always in there. But I will promise you, there are enough TAPPS schools already using it all over the state. Just get with us, look around you, and say, hey, I want a copy from so-and-so to mine. And let us go in there and do that for you, so you start out with 150, 200. Then you can look in there and add a few manually instead of you having to add them all. We'll do that for you. No cost, no nothing. Yes?
Well, would we have to contact, or can we copy?
No, we,
copy.
yeah, it's something we have to do.
And then can the schedule, is it only in that task view, or can it be in calendar view at all? Because
We have a calendar view. And you can make the calendar view public. So if you go to calendar, of course, there's nothing in this month. Well, it'll show you like 1 event, 2 event, 5 events, or whatever. We do have 1 event on some of those, so there is a calendar view. It exports to Excel.
okay.
On the,
Sorry.
sorry, on the, when you're selecting, like your, say basketball or whatever that, is that gonna be already populated, or the school admin is gonna have to go in and add each code to each sport?
So, yes. You build it once customized because some people won't have a JV. So you go in, we'll teach the admin how to go in there and say, okay, basketball's a sport, how many teams do you need? They can add 3 teams, like a varsity, JV, and 2 freshmen, or 1 of each, or just a varsity. So that's a one-time setup that's done.
Okay,
Typically, you do that up front, and it hardly ever changes.
okay.
But we'll show you how to do it. It's really simple. We have tutorials, I think, even that show how. Yeah. Yeah, you can't build it until the admin's gone in and set all the stuff up. Great questions, eh?
We have all of our away games in farm sites, where we have all our schedules. Can you also take that and import it into grade 1?
We don't have an import feature. I think one time I actually got the programmers maybe to do one for somebody, but right now, no. I'll check and see if I have the ability to really possibly put together a CSV import at one time. That's tough, because it'll duplicate the better. We ran over, you guys have been great. We'll be around, we're actually offering these sessions over and over. You need to come back, see us, whatever. We look forward to working with you.